Hi Saloni, how are you?
Good evening, sir. Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Good to see you after a long time. I think last year we spoke, right, about this time, right?
Yes, sir. In 2023, sir, we had our session.
Fantastic, fantastic. So great that last year you got through such a good rank. This year you're back again. What's your mental makeup? Tell me a little bit where you are, how you think. Because, see, you've been through it, you've done really well in the interview last time, I'm sure, right? So, for you, the conversation, I was thinking, like, okay, we can always do a mock, and, that will be a good way to test where you are. But more importantly, I wanted to hear from you, like, where do you feel like, okay, here are areas I need to improve, I need to do better. Just let's have a conversation first and then see where we want to go.
So, sir, you said that you must have done good, but my interview score was not good last time. So I got
Okay.
168. So it was less than the average. But I don't know, sir, where it went wrong because in the interview I did not find anything. I was not able to tell whether what blunder I've done or what was wrong, what was right. Nothing I could tell because it was like more factual questions were asked, to which many questions I did not know. So I said, sir, I am not aware, I don't know. So these are many times I said I don't know about the issues. And so that was about the past interview. But sir, as far as about the areas of improvement are concerned, even I am not aware. But I had a discussion with Shabir sir. So, so what I could come out with is that we need to focus on the quality of what we speak. Like, sir, as sir said about the level two, level three thinking, that you have to think vertically. You have to go inside a topic and then just not talk without substance, but go deep into a topic. So this is what I understood this time. And so I've kept my preparation that way only, little bit, whatever time I have now. So, but seriously have no idea what, where, and what I could do.
Okay. So, do you remember what were some of the factual questions last time?
Sir, I have my transcript with me, so if you allow, I'll read it and tell you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So just,
Let's discuss that a little bit.
sir, okay, so I'll start with the board. It was Shilvardhan sir's board, and I'll tell that keywords also. It was geography, electrical electronics, traveling, art, AI, and NCC. These were the keywords. So the questions, the factual questions which I did not know were the fee to file RTI, which was the first one. What should be the fee? What is the fee of RTI and what it should be? So basically, he wanted me to come to an optimum number. He think again. I said 100 again. Think 200 something. Why this? Why this? Basically, he wanted a number and then why you chose that number. That was a discussion for like 2 3 minutes. Then the next one was more conversational, like about AI, ML, conference, controversies about AI, open AI CEO and Elon Musk. So then one factual was positions in basketball. This basketball was mentioned in the draft. So what are the positions in basketball? But somehow I was aware of the position. Then sir, about he asked another person asked me about some great trigonometric game. So he said there is a great trigonometric game which is very famous in maths and it is important for engineering students. But then I was not aware of that. He said it's a very great game about some game. I don't know sir which game. Then he asked me what is 0 point. This also I was not aware. Then it was a more opinion-based question that why world is divided into countries. Then why Europe is divided. It has all the things same like economy, culture, food habits, history, but still it is divided into countries. Why? Then sir he asked me about Panama Canal, that how it functions. And then he wanted me to know the quantity of water which is added to make the ships move in the Panama
Okay.
Canal. And then next was whether it was a fresh water or saline water. And then he asked me to define 1 meter according to SI units, like whatever is the definition of 1 meter. So this 1 meter also I was not aware.
Okay.
And then sir, he gave me an electrical circuit. Basically, through words only, he explained to me an electrical circuit that there's a 1 kilometer rod, and I joined it using a wire. I joined it from one end to another end. I put in a battery. So basically, he drew a simple electrical circuit, and then he asked me to calculate the speed of current that will flow through that circuit. So yes, at that point, I was also not able to give the proper answer because, like, I tried giving it through like the speed of light, 3 into 10 raised to power 8, and then I came to the speed of current. I use the formula IRSA, and then I assume that resistance will be zero, then current will flow. All these I told them, but not satisfied. So this is what the interview was.
So, my thought process, Saloni, is that last year, obviously, they were seeing you for the first time. But this year, they will know that you are an IPS officer. And the expectation, I think, will be a little different in terms of, okay, why are you appearing next? What are your ambitions? That's what I would think. Like, I don't think they will index too much on the science, technology, or engineering related questions, those factual questions. That's area somebody goes when they don't know like how to evaluate a person who is coming fresh. But you have now some history, so my see, you can only guess, right, which way it will go. But I think it will be more towards sort of deeper, nuanced understanding of administration. I think I tend to agree with what you discussed with Shabir and what came out. That so let's discuss a little bit about what going deeper might mean, right? So I prepared a little bit for our discussion so that it'll be helpful. So I think um, one way is just to test your understanding about. I think you do this very well in the sense your understanding about the district and state you're from, the kind of most important problems in front of India, the biggest problems in the world, the current trends, all of that is there. But another way of going into it, say for example, this whole value of rupee declining, right, today, which is I was just reading up, like it's very difficult to form a informed opinion about where it is wrong, right, what is what is natural about it, what is not natural, how we should respond. So there the nuance comes in, the deeper nuance of, okay, this is what is happening and this is how we must react to. So in general, so rupee is an example, but any area, let's say you take it economic, social, all the different departments, I think, where the effectiveness of what the government has done for a policy, is it meeting the goals it started with, and why is it failing? Those are the kind of next level questions, T2 level questions. So first is understanding. Okay, I have Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Great idea. The it it's all the right. We're saying all the right things. Everything is good, looks good on paper, but the objective was this, and we achieved something else. Okay. Now, understanding when government policy works, the execution is what a bureaucrat is responsible for, right? Taking the goal of a policy and actually getting it to the finish line. And there you start facing the headwinds in terms of actual resistance, what actually happens on the ground, why do things fail. So that is the T2 level question I was thinking of. Like in every area, if you see that, okay, why has it taken such a long time to get a resolution in Gaza? So that's the second level question. Or in spite of us focusing so much on inclusive growth, why is that still a far-fetched dream? So this why kind of questions is what might help bring out the nuance. So I don't know how much you have thought about. There might be areas where you have thought about it. There might there, for example, one question could be, India is growing so much, developing so much. We are going to be, number three in terms of GDP soon. All of that, but it's not developing fairly. So that question can be asked in multiple ways. So they could say that if you are a district collector in your district, what would you do to drive inclusive growth in your district? How would you? So that's kind of the what if type of questions I feel this time they might get into, and they might also get into, like, now that you're in the system, what is your experience, why certain things don't work well, what works better. That's kind of what my thought process was when Shabir told me you're appearing again. I thought about it, and those things came to mind. Then I was saying that you are now an insider, right? So for example, you have an understanding of how governance works. So the questions might be more all on structural flaws in that system. Okay, so we are saying that the farmers should get benefit of the pricing structures. But if that's not happening, why it's not happening?
Okay.
So I think the jump for you is more from awareness of policies to why certain things are not working or why certain things worked well, that level of analysis. See, these factual questions, it's very tough. Okay, I'm sorry you had to go through that last year, but it's a hit or miss, right? Some things you know, sometimes you know, don't know it, and it's fine. Like what geometry game? I don't know. Like, it could be something else this time, so that's okay. I think if you want to review it like that, like get to the next level of the policies or the initiatives that government has done in various areas, and why they have worked and why they haven't, knowing that as an insider, and then kind of focusing on what I would do differently. That might make sense. That's what I
Yes, sir.
can think of.
So in fact, the preparation that I've been doing is also in the same lines. Like, why something is happening, then if I think what I think on that issue, and then if I were to take a decision. So it was basically based on a prompt which Shabisa shared with us. So it was that we use Yuki, summarize it, and then try to give that analysis as to what exactly is there in this theme. So the main head, the subheads under which the things are read is this only, like what I think, and in my opinion, analysis in my opinion, and basically thought-provoking opinion, like how you've come to that opinion, and then if I were to take a decision. So I don't know if that is working or not.
I mean, it's juries out there, but that's the only way we can think about this next level, right? I think that's like what think about it. What actually, if I am the interviewer, I would think, okay, is the person aware of things first of all? Okay, that almost is a check for you because you've already been recruited once. So then, my next level of questions would be if this person understands the problems and has enough brains to analyze the issue, which I have tested before. Let me understand now, having the benefit of worked a year or seeing it from the inside, is the person aware of the problems, challenges that we face day in and day out? Because sitting in an armchair saying it's easy, okay, we should have done this or that, is very different, but being a bureaucrat and actually doing it on the job is difficult. So that understanding of, okay, I understand the nuances now a district collector faces, because we can say inclusive growth, but this actually means X, Y, and Z, right? This actually, there is some value to trickle down economics, empowering billionaires to create jobs, but regulations fail because this and that, and so that's the conversation I think they will expect. Yeah.
Sir, but I don't have experience in working. Like on field, I haven't worked yet. So will that be,
Yeah, you stick to whatever experience you have had, but by virtue, so what was your last year, how did that go, like what all did you do?
So, sir, my like I got the results in 2024 April.
Yeah.
So after that, I joined foundation course at Labasna in August. So I did a
Okay.
3 months course, and in December, so I took EOL from the Parent Academy, which is the Hyderabad National Police Academy. So I took EOL from there, and then I gave 2025 attempt. So the entire year was again a preparation attempt, nothing about training, no experience, and now I'll be joining the training this week.
So at least the 3 months in Labas now, how was that like? Like, what did you learn about the job?
Mostly, I came to know the overview as to how a civil servant has to work for citizen-centric services. Basically, the ethics of professional life. That was the first and the major emphasis that I got from there. And then, sir, secondly, about the working of the administration, mostly it was like e-offices, what tools are available to use, how have been different state governments doing, how have been different senior civil servants doing in their work. Different people visited the academy. They gave lectures as to what is going on in which sector. For example, in Indian Railways, what our government and what our executive is doing, and then in what is happening in social sector, like Gujarat people came, Gujarat civil servants came. So it was more of a just an exposure to what is going on, and then many details, the deep details which I should have known. I don't think that that was known to me in the course.
Okay.
It was
So,
mostly a overview type of lectures, telling how e-office works, how different government departments work, giving some, having activities on bidding, auctioning. This was one thing which uh, I, I mean, an activity was there in the academy. Rest, moreover, it was more field visits like trekking, cleaning, and then visiting. Then we had a Himalayan study tour where we visited villages, vibrant villages, the border villages, and the life there. Then one was the village visit for a week. So village visit was basically the actual experience. I can say that where we went visited offices like the municipal office, the paperwork, how it is done, the different departments. That was the major experience on ground. Otherwise, everything was in form of lectures.
okay, okay. What I would suggest is, if you haven't already done, maybe sit down for like 10-15 minutes and, capture the insights of this 3 months for you, right?
Okay, sir.
This is the insight I got. This is the way it is making me think, and these are the values that or these are the things that surprised me. Whatever you have learned, I think succinctly, if you can put in some way and you can revise it, that will be very helpful, because I think there will be some questions around that, right? Okay, you've been selected. What did you learn in this 1 year? I think it'll be good if you can, like, distill it to insights. Okay, I this is what I learned versus, like it was us overview lectures or whatever, right? So because they know what it's like, but what experience you had while viewing those lectures or visiting those villages, and how it changed you or made you see things differently. I think that might be helpful. And then nuance, what else I think we can discuss in terms of how things are nuanced. I think in terms of how situation was last year and this year, okay, I think you can international affairs clearly have some thing about populism, protectionism, which is everywhere in the world. Protectionism was there last year too, but this year it has all been extremely heightened. And the second piece is the weakening of America is a big point. And what does that mean for geopolitically for the rest, the BRICS countries especially? I think that could be the rupee devaluation could be another one. AI has changed over to AGI, so I think generic AGI. Just read up on that. I think that might be something useful. And I think you would be. There's nothing else I can say. Nationally, I feel like you would have anyway covered everything that within your mains preparation and talking to Shabir. I think what else nationally? I think you would know better than me on current affairs. But for everything, I would say go to the next level. Why are certain things not happening the way? I think that's you will get mostly there. I think I can try, and what I'll do is, Saloni, I'll prepare a list of 10 to 15 questions. Okay. And I'll share this with you. You can use Yuki or your preparation or whichever tool you use to get basic answers, and let's do that. So when is your interview? 10th?
The ninth.
9th. Okay, so there is like literally 4 days. Actually, okay, one more thing I was thinking of, like when you went to Labasna, did you get an idea of the KPIs of these officers? Like what are they measured on eventually? Let's say IS officers. If I'm a district collector, right? What are some of the metrics I'm measured on? My performance is measured on, like my objectives. See,
Uh,
for an outsider, it's not something that they would know. But if you got some insight, that might be an area where it's good to be prepared also.
Sir, exactly. I don't think I mean, key performing KPIs means key performing indicators, right, sir?
Right.
So,
Right.
sir, no, sir, exactly the parameters or the points as to what is important, that was not told because it is more specific to the service. So, since we were of
Right.
different services, I think it was told after we left the academy, they were told it to IES officers there in the phase one, like how exactly ACR is prepared and all that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
sir, so through online studies, sir, we can come to know as to what the indicators are.
Yeah, do that. I think that will be helpful because knowing how they are measured might give you a picture of, because see, everything is like the your how you're measured defines how you behave. So that's a good thing to have in your back pocket. Also, I was thinking of conflict resolution as like civil servants, right? I think your core eventually comes back to some level of conflict resolution, saying the government wants to do certain things, but they're not easy to implement because eventually it is going against some people or some type of focus group or something is causing it to fail because things something systemic is wrong. So some level of like conflict resolution, any project, right? So I think of like infrastructure projects, land acquisition. There are issues that you face in terms of conflict resolution with people. Environmentally, if you are creating something, you're displacing people, those kinds of things come in. Law and order in police services, you will find issues people face with that. So I think dealing with conflicts is another area they might look at, like, okay, do you have, because I think this is like a promotion thing for you. Okay, This is more like a promotion thing. Okay, I have this person is already in the service. Can I give her a promotion or not? So I think they will be looking for those kinds of things where you exhibit a good understanding of what it takes to be a civil servant. You are aware of their goals, their objectives, their key performance indicators. You are aware of the problems they might face, and you have some strategies to solve it, and you have a nuanced understanding of the problems that the administration faces. In a way, I mean, those are the three or four characteristics that they will test. I would be very surprised if they go into factual stuff and try to really test you this time that way. Because, but you can always, there are always surprises.
And
So
so
tell me.
the part thing was that it was mostly flowing from the DAF itself. Like every question they asked were somehow relevant to what was entered in the DAF. So, saying no to those questions was like inside me, my confidence was going down because I knew they're related to my type and still I'm not able to answer. So, though I was trying to show it, not show it on my face, but then, whatever happens inside comes out eventually. So, I don't know.
Right. Is your DAF same this time or any changes? I'm looking at
Sir,
it.
I've removed basketball from the sports section. Instead, I've added sports events at Labasta so that they notice that I have done my foundation at Labasta. So this was Shabir sir's recommendation only, and rest I have removed one hobby which at traveling also mentioned. So I've removed that,
Okay.
and the rest of the entire participation.
All right. All right. I'm looking at it. Yeah. Hopefully you've removed those troublesome areas, and yeah, gold medal for academic excellence in BTech. No wonder you got those factual questions. I can see why they went there. That's it, Saloni. Last 2 days, 3 days, don't do much. Just be quiet with whatever you have prepared. Be in a good zone. I'll share the questions today or tomorrow,
Okay.
latest. And any other questions you have in mind? Like what's
So,
troubling you?
specifically, I don't have like question, but the only thing which I want to improve is how can I give those level two answers, like how can I come to that point? So, whatever preparation I'm doing, sir, is basically that way only now. I'm just reading a news article, trying to go deeper. What would be asked, thinking a little bit on it. So, I think this is the only change that I've done. And as you sir mentioned about the perspective which I have to follow in my thinking, like how to think basically that as an insider now, and so I think that will help. Yes, sir. So what help you could do is you can ask some question and then demonstrate how I can improve, like some question
Okay.
maybe one or two question,
Let,
like I can answer
let's
and then you can improvise over it.
let's do that. Let's do that. I'll ask you a question then. Okay, let's talk about this. This we talked about inclusive growth, right? So India is developing fast but not developing fairly because the numbers are very clear. Our GDP is growing up, but our GDP per capita is still fairly low. Okay, so as a district collector, what would you do to ensure just development in your realm of influence? How would you go about it?
Uh, Sir, in my understanding, the nature of the growth, which is growth but not equity. Sir, I think that is because of how the growth trajectory is. Sir, today if we see we are facing the problem of jobless growth. So where capital intensive sectors like IT and software services are increasing, while micro and small medium enterprises and informal sector, this is a sector which is suffering. So, sir, as a district collector, I'll have some strategy where I focus on inclusive growth in the following ways. So, firstly, it would be the skill development of people. Sir, ensuring that people develop skills, they're more employable, so that the employability index increases. That would be my first priority. And so, secondly, I'll focus on creating more formalization in the district or the area where I'm posted. So formalization means we're including these people, the problems are understood, the economic activity is traceable, and then uh, they could be improved upon. And so thirdly, I also believe that infrastructure is something which should be improved, be it digital infrastructure or physical infrastructure, because infrastructure has a multiplier effect on the economy. So, sir, if we have a ecosystem where economic growth could be more inclusive, that would be better for the nation's trajectory towards Viksit Bharat. So, sir, these are few areas I would like to.
And how do you think like other departments can help you achieve your goals? How do you work with other departments to make it happen?
Sir, I think interdepartmental coordination and cooperation is of utmost importance here. So, sir, to ensure that coordination, firstly, consensus and a consultation-based plan would be formulated, where a vision statement and a strategy document will be created with the support of all the departments, so that every department works towards the same ultimate goal. And so, secondly, we need to form something like joint committee or a council where different members, representatives of different departments are there, so that the decisions could be taken expediently. And sir, I also think as a district magistrate, it is my duty, or as a policymaker, it is my duty to ensure that different departments are on board. Because opposition from any one department will lead to delays and procedural inefficiency. So, sir, that way, something I could do.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'll ask you a different question. Let's see where this goes. And then we can come back and do the debrief, okay, after a
Okay.
set of questions. So, let's say there's a major infrastructure project is going on in your area, right? Classic example is you have a metro rail coming up, and this faces strong public protest because it goes through parks, it goes through homes, it goes through many important areas of public interest. But project is nationally important because infrastructure, as you said in the last question, is of utmost importance to us as we're improving. So, how will you go about this kind of a situation? How do you satisfy the people while keeping the infrastructure projects going?
So, sir, the concern is basically environment versus national security. So I have to see the ultimate goal or the objective which as I have in mind. So, sir, if the situation demands infrastructure for national security, because ultimately national security is also for the welfare of the people. So, sir, if that is the urgent need of the hour, then some compromise could be done by allowing the infrastructure project. But sir, before that, due process has to be followed. So like I'll take environmental impact assessment very properly, transparently, and before the project begins, so that at least the exact details of the impact are known. So secondly, there should be a proportional infrastructure project, because what national security demands and what infrastructure project is taken, that has to be proportional and not beyond what is required. And sir, thirdly, if the project is very essential and could not be compromised with, then sir, the protesters, they could be handled through a humane and a sensitive approach. They have to be told, they have to be taken into confidence through confidence building measures like dialogues and having talks with them, so that they do not oppose and understand the gravity of the situation. But sir, on the other hand, if after the impact assessment it is known that the damage would be beyond repair, so then a second thought could be given to the process.
Okay, so in your mind, what are the values we are balancing in this kind of a situation?
So firstly, if we see we're balancing the environmental concern, which is the One Health approach, which we followed with the national security concern. That is one value. And so second, I also think we are valuing the the responsiveness towards the situation, like the people, how we respond to them, to the responsiveness, and as well as the due process, like whether we are following due process or not. And so thirdly, I think more important is the compassion as a value which we have to follow towards the citizens and the people involved around.
All right. So if you have a view of one big structural flaw in India's governance system today, what is it and how would you correct it?
So one structural flaw which I feel is is problematic in India's governance structure is the siloization in the governance. So the lack of jointness in different departments and different ministries of the government and different organizations, both vertical and horizontal. So I think that is one structural issue.
And why do you think this issue has become such a big problem? How did it get created, and what things let it surface and let it fester?
So, sir, initially we have a legacy of colonial rule. So, sir, here the exact aim of the government was control and not service to the people. So, sir, then that is why the departments, the governance structures we have created as some sort of colonial legacy. So that is one reason why we have the siloed approach. But sir, today if we see that problems, the issues in governance are multi-dimensional. They are complex issues now, be it urban governance or be it the financial governance which is needed. So these complex issues require coordination and multi-departmental expertise. So here, what happens is because of this syllabization and segregated departments, there's a lot of duplicity in work. And so because of this duplication, the governance efficiency and the last mile delivery suffers. So, sir, I think it is because of colonial legacy as well as some outdated laws on which it is based, and also some lack of willingness to change the system, the inertia which has been developed. I think so. These are few reasons why we're not able to change the system.
Could you give me an example of this siloed nature in a certain area where it is you have noticed that this is creating a huge problem?
So one recent issue is what is happening in the Great Nicobar project. Sir, because environmental impact assessment is done by the Environment Ministry, while the mega shipment project and the township project, which has to be taken in the region, Nicobar region, that is done by another ministry. So now what was seen in that case is that even before the EIA environmental impact assessment report was out, before that the construction project started, and without even getting proper environmental clearance, the project started, and later on it was found that it will be disadvantageous to the critically endangered species that are living there in Nicobar rainforest. So sir, I think this is how if there was joint coordination, if there was some mechanism to ensure that both ministries have talked and proper process is followed, if that would have been very smooth and easy, then this problem would have not arisen.
So, are you suggesting more processes to solve this problem, or is there some other smarter approach?
So, in my opinion, we do not require more processes because processes is not something which can ensure outcomes. But what is required is an outcome-based approach where there is some mechanism, be it the committee, some council-like mechanism. Some mechanism should exist, not necessarily process, that ensures that whatever multidimensional or multi-departmental work is, interdepartmental work is done, that is done easily. So, but the actual problem is that the process may or may not exist, but it is the person who has to follow the process should ensure that they are taking due diligence and are actually leading to what they should do. So, sir, I think process is not necessary, but it may be necessary, but not sufficient, sir.
So let's do a debrief, okay? We discussed three questions. So I think, well, good answers. I like the last answer the best. The second answer, I would say, at the second level. So you went the reverse. So your answers kept getting better. So I think the let's start with the last one. That's the one we talked about. The structural flaw And I think you hit the nail on the head. I was looking for is it more process or person running the process sometimes, and usually it is the person running the process doesn't follow the process because the way they are incentivized, right? So the incentives of a person to follow the process must also be established along with the process to make something work. So a lot of without the right incentives, the process becomes just a paper and sits on the shelf, right? So I think structurally you can talk about these kinds of issues. Then they'll know, okay, this person has thought about it deeper. The second aspect we talked about is this organizations or departments talking to each other, right? So this siloed nature is all right, but I think fundamentally the world is interconnected. Okay, so there is, as you would have realized, right? There is no, the geography is related to economics, economics is related to society, society is related to environment. Everything is interconnected. The world is not divided into subjects. Similarly, the world is not divided into departments like revenue department, law and order, education. Everything has interdependencies with each other. So you can say that organizational design, what I was looking for, okay, what I was looking for, what would have been a nuanced answer is that organizational design should take interconnectedness into account. So the classic, example is what we are trying to do with NEP today at an education level. We have recognized that subjects need to be interlinked. In the same way, the police needs to be interconnected with the environment, and the environment needs to be interconnected with. So the interconnection mechanisms need to be there. And then you can also say that this is a reality in the corporate sector today of what they call matrix structures, right? So everyone has two sets of objectives. One is for their own department and for the integration. Okay, so I am also answerable for my own outcomes. I am also part of another team, right? Which delivers a team of people that deliver the goods. So eventually, administration is one team, and different parts of the administration needs to come together to deliver the promise of India, right? So in a way, let's say I'm part of IPS and I'm part of the law and order side of the house, but I also have a responsibility towards my team, right? So that kind of will take your answer to the next level, right? Then I think we discussed infrastructure project. Good answer. A little bit, it seemed like bookish answer. I think what would have changed it is this. See, a civil servant always needs to be citizen centric. Okay, so I asked you a follow up question saying, what are the values we are dealing with here, right? So the values you are dealing with is basically, progress over well-being, right? Economic progress over well-being. But these two values are not in conflict because the average citizen also wants progress, right? So where is the conflict? The conflict is that average citizen is not seeing the value of the progress, is not convinced that the value of this infrastructure project is going to result in a positive outcome for that person. So I think every answer, if you can think of like, okay, am I making this citizen centric? That will be a big thing, because then it will be very clear, right? If I am talking to this person from my district, okay, and that person is not convinced that this metro rail project is a good project because it is. So one thing is, okay, is this person being materially impacted? And I'm sure government does compensation, things like that, which for which, you know, but beyond that, is there something else that is fundamentally causing unrest in people's minds that this is not good? So is so one part is that. The second piece is that in every one of these public centric projects is the narrative, right?
Okay.
So as a officer, you must be as interested in the flawless execution of a project. That is one thing. Second, this flawless management of the messaging around the project, the narrative of the project. A lot of our projects in India face, because, you know, first of all, we're very densely populated. Anything we do impacts crores of people, and there are crores of perspectives with crores of people. I'm just giving you additional, fodder so you can think of that. So that is an additional complexity we get. And if we have to manage a project execution with so many people impacted, the project needs to have a right story going in. So the story always helps the execution. That if I have people believing in the story, believing in the communication of the outcomes of the project, then I'll have lesser resistance on the way.
Okay.
So that's one way to deal with that. And then the first question, which was your, I think you had a little bit of starting trouble, but I asked the question about inclusive growth. Again, make it very citizen centric, right? When somebody is asking a question of inclusive growth, they're actually talking about people more than the country's economy, because their mind is certainly focusing on what does it mean for that individual, right? So make it then make it about, okay, here's a lower middle class person from India. So make it about, like, okay, let's see a lower middle class person in India. What does inclusive growth mean for them? Better opportunities? Can they go to the next level of financial security, opportunities, and will their kids be better off than them? So essentially, everyone is looking to go to the next orbit. That is what inclusive growth means. And then you can say that yes, some things have worked, our middle class has expanded, but in some areas, so you need to have a little bit more content on what inclusive growth actually means. And what does it mean for an average citizen. And then you can get to, okay, at my district level, how I can influence this thing. It is also about influence, right? I think what you said is a good answer of how inclusive growth can be delivered. But as a when I say as a district collector, I'm kind of reducing the sphere of influence to, okay, what can a district collector do? Inclusive growth is a huge topic, but within my realms of influence, this is how I map that. So make it, if you make it citizen centric, I think it'll look better. So is my average in my district? I think the good thing is, you said we started with education, which was, I think, the right. To me, it was the right point. I think job creation, but look, these seem so kind of what they say, right? It's so mundane, because everyone will say the same thing. Everyone will say education, followed by job creation, followed by something else. I think the third point, I forget what you said, but that actually made more sense. So think about the same 3 points, how you can represent a little bit better. And I feel
So the
if
basic,
you
sir, I now realize it that these are something which, as a DM, I could not take, because these are the higher policy level topics. Like education has to be from the upper department; it will come down to the district. But now, when I was asked this question as DM, so I have to think it in a way how a district level officer will think, like being very specific to what is the need of the district and how he will change it under his capacity. So, like here,
Exactly.
basically, the
Yeah.
problem is about how the services will be accessed, like the access to education, health, how people will get opportunities in local self-employment, or maybe how to ensure that people pursue their dreams. So in that direction, I had to think it. So basically, I took it to a level which will not be, in my domain itself, and then how will I implement it when I have to say education skills? These require, a national level and a broader level policy.
Absolutely, absolutely, spot on. So I don't. Do you have that book, APJ's Vision 2020?
Yes,
Um,
yes.
if you have that book, in there is a picture Abdul Kalam draws. Says I think there are 7 or 8 things. He says for inclusive growth, every citizen must have these 8 things, and there is access to education, access to healthcare, access to this, access to that. So basically, that is it, right? So he basically is distilling the essence of inclusive growth and giving you like a, he's a engineer, right? So he's giving you a equation, so 8 things. So have a look at it. There, exactly like you said, okay, as a district collector, my job is to make sure access to education is there for people, or access to healthcare is there. Those are things I can influence. So if these 8 things are done at my level, then I can make sure that I work with other departments and get that going, and not worry about the big. You gave me the big solution, right? So then the next actionable solution is the next. So I think that's what I meant by being citizen centric. So yeah, look at that picture. I think he has 2 pictures there. One is
Yes, a flowchart like diagram.
yeah, there's a value pyramid or something he calls a pyramid.
That's
I
right.
forget. Yeah, a very, very nice picture. I think those 2 pictures will help you. It's a framework to answer any question. So yeah, I think those that would be how I debrief those 3 questions. They were little high level and they were little broad based, but my gut feeling is for a second time interviewee who is qualified first time, those are the questions they lean towards. Cool. Good. So all the best, Saloni. I will send you. I think I have your thing on Telegram. If not, if you just
Yes.
send me a message, I will respond, and I'll send you another 10 questions. Let me think through it a little bit.
Okay.
Hopefully, see that's all we can do at this point, right? There's just 3 4 days. Just keep your calm, and all the very best. I'm absolutely sure you will do so much better than last time and even get a better rank. If not, hey, nothing wrong. You still are have done really, really well. You must be absolutely proud of yourself. Okay. All right,
Sir,
Saloni.
am I
Thank.
audible? I think
Yeah, yeah. Now
I.
you cut out for a second.
So yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Like something which I've always wanted, like what to prepare, the perspective basically as to how to go about things.
Cool,
So
cool.
thank you, sir.
Great. Chalo. Bye. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Good night.